Prime Time Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Welcome everybody to another edition of Prime Time Local News. Connor Chan and Abby St. John here. Lots on the show today, including with our question of the day segment coming up later on. What summer activities are you mostly looking forward to? I mean, I've kind of started already because I've done some barbecue lately, but I mean, swimming would be fun, especially going out to the lake. There's a bunch that you can always list off there.
I'll probably try my hand at some tanning. I'm not too great at it, but you know, maybe I'll give it a try again.
I've noticed with me, it's like when I wear shorts, it's like the top part of my legs are pale white, but everything else from the kneecap down is all brown.
Yeah, I just illuminate in the sun, so hopefully I can change that.
Yeah, well, it'll all be good, but we'll get to some of those comments later on into the show, but right now let's send over to Eric Bay, who is on location today.
Thanks, guys. Well, today we are here at Edge Harley-Davidson in Lloydminster, and with that nicer weather coming up and having just finished a long weekend, if you haven't got the bike out already, we're sure you're going to start here soon. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about some of that maintenance after your bike has been sitting for a fairly long winter, making sure it's in top shape before you are going on some of those highway drives, and also if you are thinking of maybe getting into bikes, what the differences are and maybe what you can look for. So we're going to have all that and more coming up, but first we'll go back to Abby, who has a look at your local news.
A woman right here in our city has her eyes set on a national prize. 38-year-old Jennifer McEwen is a local trainer, mom of 3 and wife, vying to become the next Maxim cover girl. Maxim magazine is currently holding a national competition to find its next cover girl. The social media competition is based on votes cast online, and the winner will not only be featured in the magazine, but also receive $10,000. McEwen has already passed the first round of cuts, but isn't settling for just that.
So far I'm in the second round, which is phenomenal, and if I make it past this cut that is done tomorrow, Thursday, then I'll be in a whole new round with like 500 girls as opposed to 1,000, which is amazing. I can't believe it. You know, I'm 38, I'm a mom of 3, and here I am competing for this like really cool honor.
For McEwen, the reason to compete isn't just the money or the magazine, but the chance to put aside obstacles she's faced and take control of her life.
I'm coming to this point in my life where it's time to just be what I can be, to shine where I can shine. So I'm trying, right? So why not? I'm not going to win if I don't put in my photo and if I don't promote myself, and if I don't believe in myself, I'm not going to have a shot at all.
Voting for the second round will run until tomorrow, and if you'd like to cast a vote, head over to MaximCoverGirl.com. Track and field has been a part of physical education for decades. In this week's Beyond the Classroom, I take a look at how the students at College Park School take part in the event. Students in grades 3 to 6 participate in Track and Field Day by competing in different events like high jump, long jump, and different lengths of races. The hope is that these events will encourage kids to continue with track throughout school.
Track and field has been around for a really long time, and I find that these elementary meets, they're a really good builder for the students when they start moving into middle school, and you're hoping that a lot of them are going to continue to do track well into high school.
For the students in grades higher than 6, they participate by giving advice to the younger kids and to help with the different events.
I've been mentoring everyone, most stations, long jump, 75, high jump, just helping my brother and anyone else that can better themselves.
Tells me, like, in the 75, he told me to don't look beside me and keep my eyes forward.
The students that place first, second, and third qualify for the Lloydminster Divisional Track and Field Championship on June 5th. And that's it for this week's Beyond the Classroom.
Beyond the Classroom is brought to you by Lakeland College. Apply today to heavy oil power engineering or second-class power engineering programs at the Lloydminster campus. Lakeland College, leading learning since 1913. And
now we're going to Eric Bay, who was on location today.
We are back here at Edge Harley-Davidson, and now we're focused a little bit more on safety. And I'm here with Blaine Falcon, and now we see we got a few different safety options here. So what should people be looking at when they are thinking safety on bikes?
Well, I mean, the most important thing is protect your head. They recommend to change your helmet every 5 years, or if it takes any type of impact. So I mean, if you drop it on the ground, you really want to protect your head. So the helmets are the most important thing to get or to make sure that it's good. Safety glasses, impact-resistant glasses that are shatterproof is another big thing. And then, you know, clothing of different types. Our jackets, a lot of them have either armor in them or the option to have armor, you know, for when you're skidding down the road. Extra wear places in the places that you might hit the ground with. It's just going to keep you that much safer. And then high visibility markings around them can help too. Gloves with impact-resistant stuff and abrasion-resistant stuff. And then above the ankle boots is an important thing that most people, you know, don't think about, but you know, you don't want to lose your shoes when you're skidding down the highway. So that's some of the main safety gear that a person really wants to make sure they have.
Right, and now we see we also have the bag back here. People are taking some longer trips now with the nicer weather. So what do you guys have for maybe more storage options for people on bikes?
Absolutely. There's, you know, we have a number of different size bags and different components that you can put together in different ways on every different bike that we can definitely get you more storage and you know, for the longer trips.
All right, perfect, awesome, thank you so much. We're gonna have a little bit more from here at Edge Harley-Davidson, but first we'll go back into the studio.
All right, thanks very much, Eric. Taking a look at your current temperature right now, 20 degrees outside with some cloud coverage that we're still seeing outside. Still fairly warm, of course, as we're seeing the 20-degree mark right now. Not a lot of winds compared to the last few days we had in the single digits there coming in from the northeast. It's 7 kilometers an hour. 29 degrees was our warmest day back in 1988, while -4 was our coldest back in 2011. So here's the satellite radar map. Currently right now, we're still seeing some cloud coverage. It's getting a little thicker up north there, that upper west part there. But of course, as we'll see the more cloud coverage will later on into the next couple of days. By Sunday, we should see a little clear up a little bit more. So some other current temperatures right now, 22 degrees in Cold Lake, 21 in Athabasca and Edmonton, 19 degrees in Whitecourt, Edson and Red Deer, 17 for Jasper, 18 degrees in Rocky Mountain House, 21 degrees in North Battleford, 23 for Saskatoon and Meadow Lake, and 22 degrees in Prince Albert and Melfort. So let's take a look at the real in-depth look to the regional temperatures. 7 degrees overnight in North Battleford with cloudy skies, 23 degrees tomorrow with also cloudy skies as well for North Battleford. So 10 degrees overnight in Cold Lake with a lot of cloud coverage in this immediate area. 21 degrees tomorrow for Cold Lake as their daytime high. For us here at Lloydminster, 8 degrees overnight, warming up to 22 degrees tomorrow for the daytime high with cloudy skies to match. So here's the next 3 days. 62% chance of some rain on Friday with a high of 20 though, and then a little bit cooler on Saturday with a high of 17, and then still at 63% chance of showers will continue over into that. We're still pretty good for around the averages for this time of year, both in the highs and the lows as well. But that's a first look at your weather. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Well, seeding season is underway, but cloudy skies are hanging over the farm gate. Jared Lampow chats with a producer who is trying hard to see the golden lining.
The farming industry is kind of a bit in the dumps right now.
Like many producers, Garth George struggled through harvest 2018. The trade battle with China is targeting his livelihood as Plant 19 is underway.
It's tough being a producer when you can't control your, you control it to a certain extent, but your inputs, and then that's all on a world market, and then when you sell your grain, that's on a world market too, right? So it's pretty tough to run a business when everything's at the whim of the markets, right?
The world is holding its breath that China and the U.S. could settle their trade battle.
Say what you want about China, but they're a pretty big player in the world, and they kind of dictate what they want when it comes to prices. And and our canola, they've managed to say they don't want it, which has really affected us.
40% of Canada's canola goes to China. Issues outside the farm gate remain center stage, even though China has slammed the quality of Canada's product. If the U.S. and China could reach an agreement, perhaps Canada could return to trade as usual with China. But the uncertainty remains. One factor that helps is a soft Canadian dollar.
It's nice that the Canadian dollar is low for an ag producer because everything's traded on USDA, right? So, I mean, that's the optimistic side of me saying so. But like this piece of equipment behind me, that's also on USDA. So we got to pay the higher price for that. So it's, you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, right?
George has wrapped up his seeding and is watching on at matters outside his control that could strangle his efforts.
Yeah, that's our major market. And the sad part is a lot of us in this northern area, that's our #1 crop. So when that's taken out, it hurts a bit.
Gerard Lampow, Primetime Local News. Coming up tonight on Ag Life, a rise of the machines. A new ag bot is dotting the landscape. Plus, vaccine tips ahead of turning the calves out to pasture, and seeding season is underway. We catch up with an area producer in Marwayne. As well, meat as the ultimate plant-based protein source. Those stories on the menu tonight at 7:30 on Ag Life. See you then.
That's all for Egg Sports is next, but first, here's a look at your egg prices.
Every member of the City Centre Auto Body team has been through extensive training. We're constantly upgrading our team's education to reflect current collision repair technique.
Winning just one of their 3 tournament games in Saskatoon isn't an ideal result for the Prairie Pirates, but it's highlighted areas needed for growth. Josh Ryan has more on the team's solid work from the mound and what they can do to provide more support.
Early this season, consistency isn't showing often enough for the Pirates on defense or offense.
Tough to win ball games when the defense isn't making plays behind them, and hitting seemed to struggle a little bit too.
Despite some of the scores in recent losses, there's been strong outings from the mound. None better than a complete game from Dre Sushot in a 10-2 win on Friday.
It's nice. It's fun. That's a good game to play, and feeling's good.
That kind of effort is one that feeds the energy of the team.
He threw probably 70% first pitch strikes, and guys finally hit, and it's easier to pitch when you have a lead. So he threw great, had a few strikeouts as well, and can't complain with that.
Several key departures from the roster, including ace Jaden Gartner, have given Sushot more responsibility and a heavier workload.
I like to overpower hitters with the fastball and then keep them guessing with the curveball. That's really just focusing on the mechanics and just repeating the pitches and not fatiguing.
Staving off fatigue specifically is a larger focus.
Lots of ice and lots of Tiger Bomb is what keeps me going.
Getting more balls in play on offense will take the pressure off their pitching to win games, but moving the ball more efficiently while defending will also accomplish the same goal.
Guys seem to be getting the habit of pump faking or kind of taking their time when we got quick base runners getting down the line, so just working on getting the ball and getting rid of it quickly.
Josh Ryan, Primetime Local Sports.
The Lloydminster Twins dropped their first game of the senior baseball season last night. They fell 7-6 on the road to the Unity Cardinals. The Border City Blue Jays, meanwhile, remained undefeated after topping Standard Hill 9-4. The Jays sit tied with Cardinals at 3 wins apiece. Next action for the Jays is against the Unity Midget team tomorrow night at Legion Ballpark. And now we're going to Eric Bay, who is on location today.
Well, we are back here at Edge Harley-Davidson, and with the weather warming up, we're talking a little bit about motorbikes. So now I'm joined by Clint. We'll be talking a little bit about some of the things you can do to make sure that your bike is summer ready. So what should some people be doing after their bike's been sitting for a long winter to make sure that they're good to go to hit the roads?
Well, after your bike's been sitting for a while, there's a few things that are rather important. You want to run through your controls, make sure your throttles don't stick, that your brakes work, your front, your back. Make sure your clutch and everything is disengaging properly. And then you want to go on to make sure that your signal lights are working, both sides. We want to make sure that our brake lights are working. And we want to make sure that, you also check your oils before you take it out. Well, a good thing to do is make sure that there's no check for oil leaks underneath the bike, because if you have some oil leaks underneath the bike, obviously you're losing oil somewhere, and it could be a bit of a problem for you. Plus, when you wheel it out, if you get oil on your tires, it could be a good recipe for a disaster. Now, on a Harley, everybody has a different bike, but what we want to do is, here's your engine oil. We have a transmission beside it. We have a primary oil on the other side. But whether you have a metric bike or whatever bike you have, refer to your owner's manual to make sure that you have your required fluids are up to the proper level. There's also, every motorcycle you should have an owner's manual, and it would be a good idea to go through and do a pre-ride check. One of the biggest things that we find, and it gets rather expensive for people, and it's also a safety hazard, is or after winter, and even riding throughout the summer, you got to keep checking your tire pressure, because once they may look good, but as you brake, it starts wearing them wrong, and they'll start to vibrate a little bit, or you'll get vibration, or get other handling issues, you know, all because of your tires. So what you want to do is make sure your tire's up to pressure, you know, on your owner's manual. We also have, like this, a tire pressure gauge, and it also has a gauge that measures your tire wear. Now that's something that you know, any of your motorcycle shops in town will be happy to check for you, but you have to have 3 30-second tread or more on your tires, you know, ideally. So anytime, I mean, like I said, whether you want to stop into Edge or stop into one of the other motorcycle shops, they'd be more than happy to check that for you. And plus, if you have any questions, please feel free to stop in.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. We're going to have a little bit more from back here, but first we'll go back into the studio.
All right, thanks very much, Eric. Take a look at other current temperatures right now. 20 degrees for us still here in Lloydminster. 20 also out in Marwayne, Bonnyville, and Provost. 22 down in Wainwright and Vegreville. 21's out in St. Paul, Vermilion, and Edmonton. 22 also out in Lac La Biche as well. 21 in Maidstone, North Battleford, and Macklin right now. 23 degrees in Meadow Lake. 20 degrees in St. Walburg. 20 for La Crosse. 22 for Green Lake. Other Saskatchewan temperatures, 23 degrees in La Loche and Buffalo Narrows. 19 degrees in La Ronge. 15 out in Flin Flon. A little cooler out in South End, Walston Lake, sitting at 9 and 6 degrees. 11 degrees in Stony Rapids. 12 degrees out in Uranium City. 12 degrees in Fort Chipewyan. 24 for Fort McMurray. 21 degrees in Slave Lake and Peace River. 18 degrees out in Grand Prairie. Out in southern Alberta, much warmer than they were yesterday when they were in the single digits. So 21 in Medicine Hat, 17 for both Calgary and Lethbridge, 15 degrees in Banff, 20 degrees for Coronation, 23 degrees in Kindersley, 20 degrees in Swift Current, 22 for Moose Jaw, 21 in both Regina and Yorkton, and 17 degrees in Estevan. As we take a look at temperatures for tomorrow, very cloudy days are expected over the next couple of days. So we're going to see some clouds, no rain until the weekend, but so 22 degrees for us here tomorrow in Lloydminster, Vermilion, Maidstone, as well as in Wainwright and Vegreville. 20 degrees for St. Paul, 21 out in Cold Lake and Bonnyville tomorrow, 19 degrees for Lac La Biche, 21 in St. Walburg as well, 23 out in North Battleford, 20 for La Crosse, 23 also, or 22 rather, for Green Lake, 20 degrees out in Edmonton tomorrow, and 23 for Provost as well. As we take a look at the school day forecast for tomorrow, still going to be cloudy, but the temperatures are going to be in the double digits. 12 degrees at 8 a.m., 16 degrees at recess time, 19 degrees at lunchtime, and then 22 degrees by the time you're all set to go home there, as we'll reach the daytime high of 22 degrees. So here's the next 7 days. 20 degrees on Friday with a 63% chance. We'll see some rain there. Same results there on Saturday with the 63% chance, but about a high of 17 degrees. High of 17 also on Sunday with mostly cloudy skies, and some sun will pop up there. Clear day on Monday as we start the new week. 23 degrees on the Monday, 18 degrees on Tuesday, 54% chance of some showers there, and 20 degrees on Wednesday. That's a first look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
Once again, we are back here at Edge Harley-Davidson, and Clint Rabb joins me, and now we have a few different models of bikes lined up here in front of me. So if people are maybe looking to get into bikes, what's kind of the difference between these three when they do have a few different choices?
Well, this is three of the different families. We have another one, a little smaller one too, but these are the first three, are the three that we'll actually cover. And you have your Sportster, which varies from 883 cubic inch up to the 1200. You know, then we go over to the newly designed Softail lineup, and this is Fat Bob, but we have about 6 other models that are vary from you know, low seat heights to thinner to more sporty to more cruiser style. And then you have kind of our flagship touring line, that's your Street Glide Special, all blacked out with customized with some bars and a few different things on it.
And now we can tell they come in a few different sizes, smaller over there and then getting up to bigger. So these fit kind of different people and different heights and weights and all that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The first thing that we do when somebody comes in is, you know, obviously we'll get you know, what is their desired bike and where do they want to be and what do they want to do with it, whether they want to ride around town or whether you're going to start, you know, traveling in long haul. And then you have to sum up you know, the size of the person and, you know, the height and, you know, seat height and stuff like that. So what we want to do is we want to get somebody that's going to be comfortable on the bike, that's going to fit them properly. This actually has forward controls. We can get a mid-control version. We can get different seats. We can put different height bars on. And then you have to look at, the capability of the person, whether, like this is a fairly light bike to pick up. You have something a little bit taller, and then you have a bigger cruiser style, which, if a person's been riding for a while, that's, lots of times that's where they'll eventually graduate to. But we spend a lot of time with a person making sure the fitment is right and that they feel comfortable. Because if they're not comfortable, they're not going to ride the bike, and it's going to take away from their, that adventure.
All right, thank you. We're going to have a little bit more back from here, but first we'll go back into the studio.
All right, with the warm weather coming up very, very soon, mind you, we still have it, but before we get to those 30 bombs, we asked what summer activities are you most excited for? So some of the comments that we got very common were swimming and being at the lake, being at the cabin, because those are things that, you do while you're out there, as well as barbecuing, fishing, baseball. A lot of people everybody's different. I mean, baseball is obviously a fun thing to do as well when you're out and about during the summer, as well as, barbecuing, fishing as well. Like we talked about a while ago, we're not big fishers, we're not big outdoors people at all. You and I, we're not.
No, definitely not. But those summer activities are always, very fun because you don't get to do them all year round, just in the summer. So it's always nice to take advantage of those kind of things.
Unless you live further out west, like in BC, then you have the chance to do that all year long.
Exactly.
Well, it's that time of the show where we get to take a look at your pets for our Pet of the Day segment. So this is Felicia.
I love the big eyes.
Hi, Janet. Very, very adorable indeed. This is Pebbles.
Oh, just chilling on the table.
It's kind of big for the table, but I mean, I could be wrong. But this is Hiccup.
I love how Hiccup is sitting.
Lazy.
Yeah.
Just chilling. This is Lazy. This is Lady.
Oh, very majestic. Very beautiful.
And last but not least, this is Stevie Nicks.
I love the name.
I love that name
love
too.
It.
Well, if your pet was shown on today, you're automatically entered to win a Lloydminster Pet Pad gift card.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
All right, very pleased to be joined with the LCHS drama teacher, Simon Stang, as they're getting ready for their improv show coming up in just a few weeks. So Simon, first off, thanks a lot for coming down and talking to us today.
You bet.
So let's talk about the improv show, because it's been a pretty big deal in the LCHS drama, in the improv club rather, for many years. So I guess just talk about this year's show just in general.
So this is the 7th year that we're doing the show. Super excited. Once again, we have Scott Patey coming down from Vancouver Theatre Sports. He's kind of been our go-to over the last few years. And yeah, we're excited. We have a venue change this year. We're going a bit of a different, smaller venue at the Lloydminster Legacy Centre, which I think actually will help the show. The venue itself is, I think, more geared for smaller improv comedy, I would say. The Vic Jube is a pretty large space. So yeah, we're really looking forward to it.
And aside from Scott, you mentioned you have two other guests coming on. So I guess we'll just talk about who they are and what can fans expect from those two when they come see it.
Yeah, you bet. So Jamie Crest is one of the improvisers that's joining Scott. She's with the Vancouver Theatre Sports Rookie League. She's been doing improv for quite a few years now, and her and Scott have worked together extensively. So we're really excited to be bringing her down as well. And then another kind of special guest that we haven't really told too many people is that one of our former graduates, Megan Harlick, is going to be also joining us, which I just thought it was important to kind of start bringing back some of our former grads. I've been at the school for 7 years now. We have some really hilarious improvisers that have gone on to do improv, whether it be universities or kind of college groups. So Megan's going to come back and join them on stage, so it's kind of like a bit of a welcome home for her as well.
That sounds really like a lot of fun. And for those kids that see these big time improv stars, I guess you want to call it, or these experienced improv people that come to these shows to work with your club, how important is it for those kids to learn firsthand, like from a professional improver that competes in the Improv Olympics, because that's a pretty big deal in the improv world. It's pretty competitive for that.
Yeah,
so to speak.
You bet. I think I think it's really cool. When me and Scott kind of first envisioned this show, I think our big Our big takeaway was just for the kids that I work with to see that improv, acting, film and television is a viable career option in the future. So having somebody like Scott, who is a former resident of Lloydminster, or Jamie, who originally from North Battleford, to see them off kind of pursuing their dreams is pretty inspiring, I think. We get to see a ton of professional improvisers between Edmonton and Vancouver and stuff that we see on television, but sometimes it can be a little bit daunting or surreal to say, like, yeah, that could be me. So having a former Lloydminster resident, a good friend of mine who's very personable, come down every year and dedicate his time. I mean, I've heard from former grads and still current students right now that it's inspiring, and it helps them see that they can go off and do this if they really want.
And just quickly before we wrap and getting out of time quickly, what are some things that people can expect, and then also just prices of tickets and then the dates as well?
Yeah, so it's going to be a hilarious improv comedy show as usual. We're going to start off the show with our kids. The main event is Scott, Jamie, and Megan. The show is always super hilarious. Tickets are on sale right now at eventbrite.ca. $20 in advance or $25 at the door. So we really hope to sell out this place. The improv is completely based on crowd participation. So the more people in the audience, the better. So yeah, I hope to see a ton of people out there.
And it's June 6th, correct? Is it?
Yes, Thursday, June 6th, 7 p.m. With doors opening at 6:30.
Well, Simon, thanks a lot for coming out,
Yeah,
and
you
hopefully
bet.
you can all go out and enjoy some great improv for everyone to see.
Awesome.
Hey, it's Justin Marshall from Cool 101.3 at Bonnyville and Boom 95.3 in Cold Lake. This is what's happening around the Lakeland area. Coming up on Saturday, May 25th, it's a steak and crab fundraiser here at the Bonnyville Legion. It's going to be good. Vice President of the Legion, Jamie, joins me now. What's going on?
Well, we're having a fundraiser. We want to send some kids to camp. And what we're going to do there is we're going to wrap it up with our end of the season jam, which is more of a jammer showcase. So what we're going to do is we open the doors at 4 o'clock this Saturday. 5 o'clock we'll start serving. And the jammers, the showcase, will start at 5 o'clock with the first set of jammers going up. And from there, we'll keep rotating our jammers that have come with us for last year.
And you got a live auction, too.
And we have a live auction. We have Dave Collins coming in about 8 o'clock. He's going to auction off some items that we have already, and we're accepting more items as we go. And then after Dave's done, we got our feature, Barefoot Bob, coming in. Now, Barefoot Bob's been in Bonnyville before, and kind of some people know him.
And Barefoot Bob's so hot, tickets almost sold out.
Almost. I think we're under 10. Under 10. I'm sold out, but AOK has under 10. I know that. That was the last thing I got this morning. So.
Well, perfect. And a big thing as well, why are you guys partnering with Kitski High?
Well, what our objective is here is that kids are only kids once. So some kids right now in this economy and stuff like that don't have an opportunity to go to camp. So we're going to step up and give them that opportunity. We've already raised over $1,100, and the more money we raise, the more kids we're going to put into camp.
Well, that's great, Jamie. Thanks for joining me. And if you have an event you would like to feature on What's Happening, email me, jmarshall@stingray.com.
Furniture supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Today I'm joined here with Lisette, the owner of Reinvented, and they take pallets of old wood and reinvent them to make signs, games, baskets, you name it. Thank you for coming in and talking about all the different projects that you do. First, I'd like to start out, how did Reinvented come to be what it is?
Okay, I was a teacher for 30 years and I retired, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with my newly found free time. I knew I wanted to spend time with grandkids. I knew that I wanted to spend time with family, do some volunteer work that I'd never had the opportunity to do. But My husband and I would make some of these things as Christmas gifts and gifts for different people. And my sister encouraged me to start making things to sell. And I wasn't sure that I was a salesperson. I wasn't sure that I had it in me to be a business owner, but we got started really small, and then it just kind of evolved from there.
And what sort of things, I know we have a whole display, what sort of things do you do most often?
Okay, we started with, our product line started with, you know, just very few things. Our centerpieces were really one of the, which I don't have here with me, but we do centerpieces for all seasons, but we kind of started with our centerpieces, and that was really big, and they still are really big and popular. Some of the original items from our product line were this caddy over here, this little memory game here for children. Those were some of our first things that we ever made. From there, then we started making these wood coasters. We make some out of poplar, some out of birch. The signs are just very new as of this spring, actually. Yeah.
And we have something over here. Would you like to just talk about a little bit about what it is? Because I see there's different hooks and cards on it.
Sure. So this is a birthday board. This was new as of just a few weeks ago. This was inspired by one of my customers and friend and my hairdresser who basically asked me, do you make birthday boards? And I said, no, I've never made any. And she said, would you? And I said, I can certainly look into it and we'll see what we can do. So this is a piece of fence board that has been reinvented into this birthday board. So what it is you have all the months of the year that just hook on the bottom here, and then you put family birthdays, anniversaries on the blank discs that just hang from the various months. And so they're all unique, different. This one has a big knot hole in it. Some people like a cleaner look. We have some that have a cleaner look. We have some that are barnwood. So, you know, variety of colors and forms as well.
And so if someone wants to have a sign or game or coasters custom made, how can they go about getting in contact with you to, you know, see, or like what's the process of making something for someone?
Sometimes it's just through word of mouth. People know that I do this and seek me out. We do have a Facebook page, and so it's Reinvented by Lisette is our Facebook page. Some people contact me through there. I am at the Border City Farmers Market about once a month, so I just always, if people like me on Facebook, then they know where I'm going to be. So it's usually through one of my sales, either whether it's, you know, a trade show or a small sale somewhere in a small community, or at the market. People come, they see what I have, and they say, gee, I have an idea. Can you do this?
Yes.
So that's usually how we go about it.
Okay, well, that's awesome. If you'd like to get a game, sign, one of those caddies, or even the birthday sign custom made, or just something that they've already done, you can visit Lisette Reinvented on Facebook and find out more information. Maybe meet up with her at one of the farmers markets and get it started. So thank you so much for coming in and showcasing these beautiful signs and work that you do. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, today we've been spending time here at Edge Harley-Davidson, and as you can see around me, that weather has been getting a lot nicer, reaching into the 20s here. So if you haven't got the bike out already at the long weekend there, you're probably going to start soon. So we've been looking a little bit about some maintenance tips for you if you are going to take it out, making sure that you don't get maybe stuck where you don't want to be. So again, making sure you're checking those oil levels, making sure that's all good and ready. And again, also after a long winter, your tires, those could crack. The winter is obviously, those temperatures are very hard on the tires, so making sure those are in tip-top shape before you do end up with maybe a flat. We also talked a little bit about some safety things you need. A helmet, those got to be replaced every 5 years as recommended. Make sure you are protecting your head in case something ever does happen. So that's all from us here tonight. We're going to go back into the studio where Connor and Abby will wrap up tonight's news.
All right, thanks very much, Eric. Take a look at your 7-day forecast one last time. 22 degrees tomorrow, 20 degrees on Friday with a 63% chance of some rain, as well as 63% chance of rain on Saturday with a high of 17 degrees. High of 17 also on Sunday with mostly cloudy skies and a bit of sunshine there. 23 degrees on Monday with all clear skies there. Then we go back to rain on Tuesday with a high of 18 with a 54% chance of some rain. And then last but not least, on the Wednesday, mostly sunny and a few clouds with a high of 20 degrees. But not bad for the next couple of days.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's going to do it for us here tonight, folks. Thanks for watching. Have yourselves a great night.